Call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission, the commission meeting Friday, February 15th, 2013. My name's William Brown. I'm chairman of the commission. At this time, we'll stand and ask Commissioner Stout to give the invocation, please.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you, and we're mindful of how lucky we are to be able to get up and walk and talk and to have our occupations that we have. Lord, be with those people who are less fortunate than us, that are not healthy, that need your blessings, Lord. Lord, we ask you to be with the individuals here. We ask you to be with our meeting. Help us to be respectful of each other. Let us be diligent in our decision making. Lord, we pray for the families of the wildlife officers that are out there serving our wildlife community, protecting our resources. Be with those men and women as they are in hazardous jobs. Lord, we continue to pray for our men and women in uniform that fight for our country every day all over the world. Lord, I ask you just to revive our hearts of this country, and let us be mindful of the sacrifice that you made to us with the coming of Easter, with the crucifixion of your Son, Jesus Christ. Let us approach every day knowing the sacrifice that you gave to us and that we should also give to others. Lord, bless this meeting. Be with us as we go our separate ways and bring us back safely together. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Barber, would you call the roll, please?
Jim Bledsoe.
Here.
William Brown.
Here.
Harold Cannon. Bill Cox.
Here.
Jeff Griggs. Jeff McMillan.
Here.
Tom Rice. Jim Ripley. Julie Schuster.
Here.
Clayton Stout. James Stroud. Trey Teague.
Here.
Jamie Woodson.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask that we approve the minutes, or if there's any discussion on the minutes from last month's meeting. Anyone?
Move approval.
All right. I have a motion and a second that the minutes be approved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. At this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Boyd Barker, who is with the Department of Agriculture. Mr. Barker is the Director of Special Projects and is representing Commissioner Julius Johnson, Commissioner of Agriculture. Glad to have you with us this morning. There will be a list, or there is a list being circulated throughout the audience. Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. If you would, please sign that list, and if you're representing a particular group, note that on there. If you want to address the commission during the meeting, I'll ask you to come to the front of the room to the microphone, state your name and who you represent, if anyone, and what you wish to address the commission about. Also ask you to do that at the time when the committee during the subject matter about which you're here is being discussed. In other words, if it's about wildlife, wait until that time is being discussed with the commission, fisheries, etc. Also, if there's anyone, I don't think we have anyone here today. It doesn't look like there's anyone, but maybe agency members. So, okay, we will move forward at this time, and we're going to have the presentation of the IT Professional of the Year Award for 2012. At that time, Michael, you're making that presentation.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to go ahead and just give you some background on that. About a year and a half ago, I was given the opportunity to lead the IT division And we made several changes, and I guess that's pretty normal when you make a change like that. And I think one of the most important things that we looked at was recognizing people for what they've been doing in their hard work and all the achievements that they've undergone, and all the sacrifices that they've given to the agency. So I think that's important. So what we implemented was an award system that we were giving quarterly awards to the individuals that fell into that category. And we were trying to figure out what to call it, because we have several different disciplines inside our division. We have programming, technical for desktop support. We have property that we do, the property for all the entire agency, IT procurement for software and hardware all down the road. We've got data entry. We've just recently acquired GIS and web development, and just the list goes on, all the different things that we are now doing. So I don't think it could be called IT technical individual for the year. So we went with IT professional because I think that pretty much sums it up. And so we had quarterly awards, and individuals who won the quarterly awards throughout the year were Samatha Ed, Brian Telford, Sonia Northrup, and Richard Youngs. And I'd like to just take a moment, if you don't mind, and read what Richard had done. Richard was the primary technician responsible for the accurate and timely purchasing of 100% of all computer-related hardware and software equipment for the entire agency. In this capacity, Richard collaborated with the technical, purchasing, and budgeting team members at TWRA, statewide contract POCs with OIR, non-contract third-party technical vendors, and TWRA end users to validate the technical necessity of every item purchased and ensured their expeditious delivery. In addition, Richard prepared receiving records, tagged all new assets, and maintained cost reports and inventory records for all computer-related assets. Richard was also responsible for maintaining the inventory records, transfer records, and surplus records and audits for all agency property assets statewide. He also traveled throughout the state collecting and preparing surplus equipment, which he brought back to Nashville and ultimately auctioned off to the public via coordination with OIR. Richard consistently goes above and beyond by volunteering to work outside of his major job responsibilities, being proactive and resolving issues before others could realize their potential magnitude, and by helping anyone in need before they ask. Richard consistently demonstrates genuine team spirit and a real commitment to the IT division and to this agency. He is revered and respected by his colleagues in other state agencies, by his peers, and by his supervision. Richard leads by example and unknowingly inspires everyone else to excel because of his character, keen sense of true professionalism, and expert attention to quality while providing the highest level of genuinely courteous and heartfelt customer service. Richard has really gone above and beyond, and with that, I'd like to present Richard Youngs with the inaugural IT Professional of the Year Award for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency 2012.
Congratulations, Richard. We appreciate all your hard work. At this time, we will move to boating and law enforcement. Commissioner McMillan.
At this time, I'd like for Glenn Most to come up to discuss Rule 1660-2-7 concerning the governing operation of vessels.
All right, Glenn, before you get started, this is a rule-making hearing, so let me read this announcement. This is a rule-making hearing before the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission to consider amending Rule 1660-02-07, which deals with rules and regulations governing operation of vessels. My name is William L. Brown. I will conduct the hearing. The order of proceedings are as follows. Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency staff will present information on the proposed rule amendment. Commission members will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Members of the audience will be permitted to comment and ask questions. Staff members and members of the audience wishing to speak should identify themselves before speaking. I reserve the right to limit comments and discussion, especially in cases of repetition. Glenn?
Thank you, Chairman. Within this chapter, there's 37 different, 37 different rules, and we're proposing to amend 12 of those. This deals primarily with no wake zones. I was going to give you a little bit of background on how we got to where we are on this amendment. In 2011, we sent a request to the law enforcement districts asking them to review the no wake zones on their respective reservoirs and respond where changes were needed to be made in the existing rule. We knew that going into it, there's going to be some housekeeping changes that needed to be made, and we felt like the local wildlife officer is the best one to be able to go out there and look on the water and actually see where the rule didn't coincide with what was on the water at this time. It's been quite a number of years since we've amended this rule. The rule amendments that we're going to present are a result of those that feedback that we got from the regions. Now, I'm going to show you here on the screen. I've got a summary of the changes for your viewing here. I can just go through it real briefly. On Chilhowie, there was a zone that needed repealing. There were no ramps or docks or bridges in that area that needed protection. The biggest change you'll probably see in this rule is on Old Hickory and Cordell Hull, where we have several access areas that have been marked by the Army Corps of Engineers as no wake. There's buoys out there, but they were never in our rule where we could enforce them, so we were wanting to add those. Some of them you'll see, like Pickwick and Timms Ford. We added on a few of those zones to prohibit towing. Now, I may not have been real clear on this. Towing is towing skiers. Water skiers or tubers is what that means. So on, there were a few of those that we did that. On Pickwick, we added no towing to 2 of the zones, Timms Ford 1, Nickajack 1, on Mountain Hill 2, and Wolf River as well. This section here, all of these, just Nickajack, there was just one zone that we added no towing of skiers. I believe it's at a bridge that goes in towards Cave Slough over there. So, and all of these we were asking to repeal 4 of the zones as they felt like they were no longer needed. So that's pretty much a summary of what we're asking for. Was there any questions?
Yeah, I know you told us that no towing meant skiers. Is that specified in the change?
It is. It's
Okay.
specified in the change. It says there shall not tow a person on water skis, surfboard, or inner tube, is the way it says it.
I've got a question. Have we got 2 Wolf Rivers in Tennessee?
That I don't know. This is in Region 1. This
This is
particular.
down in Fayette or Shelby County? Wolf River Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, on the Mississippi, okay. All right.
Yeah, the main change on that, the wording was wrong in it, the name of it was wrong, and while we were going in there, we just added that water skiing thing there. Nothing about the zone has changed, we just changed the name of it, basically.
Wolf River comes out of Kentucky. Yeah, we referenced it to, I thought maybe that's where.
You won't ski on it.
We'll ski on the Wolf River down there.
Catching good trout.
Do I hear a motion? We approve the recommended changes in the rule.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Well, we have a roll call right on the rule.
William Brown,
Yes.
Jim Bledsoe,
Yes.
Harold Cannon, Bill Cox, Jeff Griggs, Jeff McMillan,
Yes.
Tom Rice, Jim Ripley, Julie Schuster, Clayton Stout,
Yes, ma'am.
James Stroud,
Yes.
Trey Teague,
Yes.
Jamie Woodson.
Thank you. The motion passes. Thank you, Glenn. Moving to the Budget Committee, Commissioner Schuster.
Thank you, Chairman Brown. The commission recognizes John Gregory, Region 4 Manager.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Schuster. Darrell called me last night. He's having, one of his animals was operated on and wasn't doing very well, so he needed to stay home. So since this money's coming up my way, I stepped in. Yesterday, we requested and the committee approved to move or do a budget adjustment for $5,400 from the proceeds of the elk nonprofit sale.
Thank you. Chairman Brown, the Budget Committee and I recommend passage of proposed budget expansion 2012 elk auction tag in the amount of $5,400.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Commission recognizes Director Ed Carter.
Thank you, Chairman Schuster. I'll begin with an apology. I hate to bring anything before the commission that I haven't notified you before. You got here and explained about it, so if I can have just a moment to explain what I'm asking for is another budget expansion, and it has to do with positions inside the agency. We've talked about, of course, before what we would like to do in terms of restructuring Nat's job as it stands now and having a full-time legislative liaison person plus some of the things we've done inside the agency to restructure that. In doing that, of course, as Barry moved up into that position, that freed a position up that we had downstairs that is going to be unfilled at least for some time. Then there's another position in the Information Education Division that has been unfilled for a while due to a person retiring, and we plan on abolishing that position. So in net effect, because of the way the personnel system works in the state, we'll have to ask for a budget expansion on a couple of these positions as opposed to just giving you the net difference between the positions. Under the new TEAM Act, a lot of the things are time sensitive and some are much different than they've been in the past in terms of how they have to go forward. In order for us to be able to fill these positions anytime in the near future, we really need to take action today. It's my mistake for thinking that we could wait until the March or April meetings. Thought we could move forward, and then when we knew exactly how everything would fall out, I'd be able to come to you. But in talking with Stan Powell this morning and some yesterday, it's apparently we can't wait that long. The Finance Administration won't allow us to move forward until they know that sufficient money is in the budget. And even though we're abolishing some, it doesn't have any impact on going forward. It's just the way the budgeting system works. But I don't want to mislead you. There are some increases that will be a part of that. So the one with Nat's position is the one I'll begin with. I'll be abolishing one position, which will be a net savings of about $61,000 between the benefits and salaries that would be in that position. And then coming back, I expect this person in the restructured position to do quite a bit of in-state travel, meeting with local governments and other persons around the state. So I'm building in a little more travel expenses than I ordinarily would. And technically, what I would have to ask you for right now is just salaries, but we're trying to build in the whole program so you know how much money we're actually talking about. So the long story short on that one is about $125,000 that I'd be asking in the wildlife fund for this legislative liaison position. But out of that, as I said, we're going to abolish $61,000, and then we'll also abolish that part-time position that Nat's in now. So there'll be two savings. The one, I'm not even figuring in the part on Nat's part-time position. It's really not it's going to vary, and I don't have a good figure to give for you. I'll just tell you that it'll be something above $61,000. On the other side, and I'll give you just a little history here about, Darren, I can't think of how long ago it was, but probably 6-7 years ago, we thought that there would be boat titling in the state of Tennessee. There were at least 3 different bills in the legislature that were up to change boats so that they actually had a title like cars. We knew to do that, we'd have to correct all the hull identification numbers in the state. The hull identification numbers are those 12 digits on the back of a boat. That's really the serial number of a boat. it gets really complicated because boats prior to 1972 didn't have to have one. Then after 72 up to, I think, 84, there was one format. Since 84, there was another one. Then they put in hidden hull numbers. So there's at least 3 different formats that any one boat can have. And you have to be really familiar with that in order to explain to the public what they're looking for and what they need to do to come into compliance. The Coast Guard has mandated now that we do that. They came up with a system called the Vessel Identification System. Every state's a part of it. And by 2015, we have to have that system in place, or we're no longer eligible for $4 million in federal funds. So it's not much of a thought process for me to say we'll do what we have to do in order to get our program into compliance with the federal guidelines, and also to make sure that we're not putting in jeopardy receiving that $4 million. So the people in our revenue division will be the ones that will be working with this. They started about 2 months ago with our IT people ran a program that they developed, and it looked at every boat registered in the state of Tennessee and said, under these guidelines that they put together, how many bad hull numbers do we have? Do you remember the number? 33,000. The first run was 33,000 that we knew were not right. There will be more, obviously. But that 33,000, they began sending out, when they sent out renewal notices for boat registrations, said, call us and let us explain to you what you have to do, because we can't register your boat until that's done. They were able to handle that for the first month or two because we were at the end of the license sales year. The license sales were going down as the new licenses are going to sell, of course, at the end of February. The volume in license sales back in revenue goes down, but we're now at the peak time, obviously, as we go into the new license sale year for all the people who are trying to renew licenses and all the calls and paperwork that they have to do in order to push that forward. It's also peak boating time. From now until June the 1st is when most people register their boats. So the 600 that they had a month or so ago, they felt like they could handle pretty well, even though it took all 6 people back in that division to be doing that. And now this next month is 1,800, and it will get worse in terms of volume as we go forward. So I could give you a lot more detail than that, but that's essentially why we're asking. We just don't physically believe we can handle the volume that's going to go through. We don't want to push this out to the regions because they would be under the same problems that we're trying to deal with here. And essentially, since all the boat registration is eventually handled here, then that's where we wanted to direct the traffic. So we'll be asking for 3 account clerk positions, go back in boating, back in revenue to handle that one particular problem. We expect it to take until 2015 to get that done. At that point, I doubt very seriously that we'll need all 3 of those positions, and we'll address that when we get there as to what the workload is at that particular time. But in that one, for those 3 positions would be $120,000 that in total, again, with employee benefits and with salaries and with what office equipment they have to have. So the total expansion I'm asking for would be $125,000 in wildlife and $120,000 in boating, for a total of $245,000. And again, I'll remind you that at least $61,000 is going to be backed out of that for positions that we're abolishing, actually be a little more than that. So again, I apologize for bringing that to you without any notification, and wasn't my plan to do that, but the time-sensitive part that we're working with kind of dictated it had to be done today.
Thank you, Director Carter. Since we weren't able to vote on this in committee yesterday, Chairman Brown, would you take this to the commission, please?
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission at this time? Mr. Cox?
I've got a statement. This is the first time I remember the director abolishing a position. So that's good. If you didn't need it, don't keep it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions from the audience? Excuse me, Commissioner.
You said you were going to, are you going to do new hires on the 3 people?
Yes, sir.
Clerks?
Yes.
And you said you would address that when it was over, right? I mean, when the job was up in 2015?
Yes, sir.
What do you think will happen with those employees?
What we try to do when we have employees, rather than just laying people off, we try to utilize positions that come vacant inside the agency to allow them to have first opportunity rather than going out. When a position becomes vacant, we always advertise in-house first. And if we have persons that are eligible and they want to move to that, then we try our best to put them in that. And then there have been times when that didn't work, and we just either abolished the position or laid those people off until something else would come open.
Are they gonna be told there is a possibility they could be laid off?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
He was gonna apply for the job, but you changed his mind. Any other comments? All right, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second that the budget be expanded to accommodate the request by Director Carter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
And I have one follow-up question on that. Do you think we're gonna go to a titling system under that, or is it?
The Coast Guard, out of their Washington office, would like all states to title, and they do it from two different reasons. One being from a national security standard, and that's what this vessel identification system is. There's a thing in place now so that under that system, a person, and they push it out even to lending institutions, that they could call up that system and they can find out certain information about boats. The amount of information they could find out about a person was somewhat protected, so we're moving toward what they would like to see as a national titling effort.
That would have to go before legislature.
It would.
Such.
Yeah, and over the years, that's been up and down. I can remember 3 different titling bills that I've worked with in the legislature in the past. It's not something we push, but since it ties up the persons in our agency and affects the way we can register boats, we get very much involved in it when it does.
I was just wondering if they did go to a titling system, if it would move it out of our hands into like county clerks or something like that. Like when you title a vehicle, it goes through your county clerks and stuff.
The different versions of the bill, what we would prefer is if it happens, we would do the titling here, but the county clerks are involved in it. And as a matter of fact, every time we've been through that system, the committees that were put together, the County Clerks Association was always on that committee. We worked directly with them to make sure that it would be fluid.
Thank you, Director Carter.
All right, I was looking for Ken. Is Ken here?
Glenn's gonna go back.
Okay.
I know where he's going.
Okay.
I've got a question while we're waiting, and I should apologize for not asking this before we're in session. Glenn, is it possible Gordon, when you identify properties that we're working on and you're closing or doing whatever, can we get a map that locates where those properties are? Would that be very difficult? Because a lot of these you cover, and I don't have a clue where they are, especially when sometimes it's in my area and you identify this or that. I go back and research to get it. Is that feasible? Great, thank you.
While we're waiting on Ken, can I make just a couple of little announcements? First of all, I think it's noteworthy, as you started out this morning, to note that you've included Ron Crabtree now as one of the agency employees. And well, he's been here. Because he's been here so much, I think he qualifies. So the other thing, I got a call Tuesday night from Senator Alexander's office, and they want to know if I'd participate in an event that he wants to hold on the 19th of this month. Well, I guess that's next Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. Excuse me, the 20th, I think, next month, not the 19th. It's this month. Let me get my dates right. It's either the 20th or 21st. Either way, I'm going to be there. But he wants to hold it below Old Hickory Dam, and he wants to bring, some more attention to the fact that the Corps and the engineers is trying to barricade off the end of those areas where people were using as prime fishing areas. And he's done a lot. He's pushed as hard as he can. He's met with a lot of people on the national level. He's written letters to the Secretary of Defense and on and on. So in any case, he wants to do this as one more effort. He's got legislation on the federal level that he's working at. It hasn't been brought forward yet, but he's trying to put that together. But in any case, I'm sure you'd be more than welcome, and I'll give you more details than I just gave you now, but it's going to come up very quickly. I just wanted you to know that it will be next week, and I'm thinking now it's Thursday. That's what I meant to say. Thank you. So anyway, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Director, and you reminding me of Senator Alexander's responsiveness to not only the commission, but to so many citizens across the state. Even if it were just a very simple letter to him, just thanking him for his responsiveness. We obviously took action as a commission, and I will have to say that the response was immediate and impactful, and is I think above and beyond the call of duty, although we've got a long way to go here. But I personally appreciate it. I know all the members of the commission do, and I wonder if perhaps Ms. Barber might, help us draft a letter and just thank him. Doesn't have to be real long, but just thank he and his staff for their hard work in this effort, and appreciate partnering on it.
I think that's an excellent idea. I was also told Tuesday night that he hasn't given up on the funding for the hatcheries, and that he's still right in the middle of that. So, yeah, he's really gone above and beyond everything we've asked him to do. So appreciate the good suggestion. We'll do that. I also wanted to mention to you is in March, the Carroll County Range, I'll get you the exact dates on this too, but the Carroll County Range is having an opening. It's the range that you all approved the funding for. This will be the third time, but that we've added supplemental funding to it. It's going to be a world-class facility. It's from archery on through shotgun and rifle, and they want to bring in a bunch of noted celebrities that are known for shooting ability and in the outdoor world as well. And then later on, and I'm not sure the exact date on this one, but they have another thing where the Carroll County Lake that y'all have been very much a part in is going to open as well. So both of those will open this spring. They're going to have one big event to celebrate both of them later on as well. I'm sure they'd love for y'all to be a part of that, and I'll make sure that you get that information as we go forward on it. March the 20th? Okay. Anyway, March the 20th, Bobby says, will be on Carroll County Lake, but we'll get that to you. I guess that's it. Thank you.
All right, the commission recognizes Ken Tarkington, Chief of Administrative Services.
Thank you, Chairman Schuster. There's a two-page financial report in your books, and I'm reporting through the month of December 2012. At the top of the page is the boating fund, and this indicates we're approximately 24% behind in our collections versus the year before. And I'll skip down to wildlife, and it's 2.7% down. The actual collections, because of the way it transfers between the two funds, is more like 7.8% down in boating, so it is down, and about 3.4% collections in December. Of course, our big period of sales for both of these are later in the year. For the wildlife, the end of this month begins the beginning of our peak. March, April, May, and June are the real big months for the wildlife fund, and in like manner, but through July, end of July and 1st of August for boating. So as I've said before, I don't think there's still any reason for concern, but it's still at least flat, or actually we're behind. But we'll see what happens in the spring and in the summer. Going back up to the boating fund, on the expense side, we're at approximately 32% expenditures versus the allotment for the year. We've spent almost a third of our allotment through the end of December. And then going back down to wildlife on the expenditures, we're at approximately 38% expenses of the allotment. The two endowments at the bottom, the Watchable Wildlife Fund has approximately $27,000 that can be used for watchable programs, and the Lifetime Endowment has approximately $33,400,000 in it. On page 2, the Wetlands Acquisition Fund at the top of the page currently has approximately $8.9 million. We've zeroed the maintenance fund out, in the center of the page, as we usually do, and the compensation, which is the in lieu of tax fund, has approximately $373,000 balance in it. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
This is the first time I've heard you, if we're behind on license sales, first time I've heard you not have a reason. You just sound like you're hoping it's going to pick up. Is that something you're change, or is it?
Hope is not a method. I see no we've been at this point before where we have been less than what we collected the year before and still collected the same amount. Worst case scenario, we don't collect it. We don't collect it. There's all sorts of reasons, economy, weather, et cetera. And we don't really know that until after those sales either occur or don't occur. We don't have a method to run a sale on our licenses. We don't have a method to, other than to advertise, which we normally do anyway. But December through the middle or end of February is the lowest sales period for both of those. We'll collect almost 60% of our revenue in wildlife in the last quarter of the fiscal year. So it may pick back up, it may not. I can't tell you that it will. But I'm not preaching gloom and doom.
I have a question. I apologize for my voice today, and I probably should have asked Michael this yesterday. Introducing this new web app that we've got, what do you anticipate that'll do for license sales? Will it increase it? Will it stay the same? Has there been any talk about that? No way of knowing?
Commissioner, it'd be pure speculation. I don't know. It could make an increase in the number of sales. People usually don't buy something, and especially from government, until they have to, until they're made to. It would be easier for them, I think. And what we could see is perhaps sales a little earlier than what we would have, but I'm not sure that it would make a big increase or a big difference.
Might be a novelty item. They're like, hey, we'll get this on our iPhone now. And a bunch of people run to it to try it.
Well, anytime you have another option and you have another avenue, there'll be some people that'll use it, and they'll use it quicker. So we could see, and it could increase sales. I just don't have any data that would show that.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Brown. That completes all the business concerning the Budget Committee.
Last month, I appointed a nominating committee to present nominees to the commission for the election of officer of chairman, vice chairman, and secretary for the coming year. And Commissioner Schuster, Commissioner Stroud, and Commissioner Cannon comprise that committee. So whichever one of you all wants to make a report and state who your nominees are, may do so at this time. I know Commissioner Cannon's out of town.
Thank you, Chairman Brown. The nominating committee, which is made up of Commissioner Harold Cannon, Commissioner James Stroud, and myself, recommend the following recommendation of commission officers. President Jeff McMillan for term 2013-2014, Vice President Jeff Griggs, term 2014 to 2015, and Secretary Jim Bledsoe for term 2015 to 2016. Thank you, Chairman.
I appreciate you all getting together and handling that task. And I guess at this time, I'll ask, are there any other nominations from the commission?
Second.
I have a motion and a second that nominations cease. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I guess if there's no further nominations, then do I hear a motion that these nominees be accepted by acclamation?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Congratulations to these commissioners, and I want to say, before I depart this office, that it has been a pleasure for me to be the chairman for the last 2 years. I appreciate the support and cooperation that I've gotten from my fellow commissioners. It's been great. Everyone's been a huge help to me in working through this. Those of you that have been on the commission during this time know we've fought through some significant battles, and everything's worked out, I think, very well, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate the agency, all the regional managers, Director Carter and his staff have been a tremendous help to me, and I strongly recommend those of you that are coming into these positions that you use have access to these people, because they're a great help, do a great job, and I commend you all for that. Thank you very much for giving me the privilege of serving, and I look forward to continuing to serve on the commission for 2 more years. Thank you. I guess if there's nothing further, we'll turn this over to Chairman McMillan, and he can announce, he can announce the next meeting, and I'll be glad to pass the gavel to him.
Oh, thank you, Chairman Brown. Very honored and flattered that the commission sees that I'm fit to lead them through 2013. However, I realize they have the enviable, it's a more hard word for me, position to follow Chairman Brown. We've had a tough couple of years that we've asked him to be the chairman, and in fact, our very existence was challenged, and I think the leadership and the professionalism that Chairman Brown showed is going to be a hard act to follow, and we're so very appreciative of you carrying us through these 2 hard times, and I'm sure we have challenges ahead through this year that I hope that I can handle, but your leadership and, as I say, your professionalism is unsurpassed, and I'd like to one last time ask us all to rise. And let's give this man an ovation.
Thank you for those kind words.
Is this on, or, okay? I've tried to think of what I could bring to the table that might add to the job that Chairman Brown did, and so far all I've come up with is I'm taller and I hear a little bit better, so we'll see if those attributes will help me. And I have more hair, that's right. Is there anybody else on the commission that would like to say anything at this time?
I'll start. Judge Brown, the 2 years that I've been on the commission, you've been the faithful leader, and I think it's a compliment to your leadership ability that you got to serve as chairman for 2 years and took us through some rough times. I'm really going to miss you as a chairman. Look forward to Mr. McMillan, and but I'll enjoy being a friend to you and for the rest of my life, and serving with you, and you get to kick back and take it easy, and we really appreciate what you've done.
He's not going to take it easy. I'm going to need a lot of help.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Chairman Brown, I just want to thank you as well for your leadership through some pretty difficult times, and just want you to know how much I appreciate your friendship as well, and look forward to another 2 years with you. Thank you.
Judge Brown, I have a lot of people ask me all the time, do I like being on the Wildlife Commission? And I tell them I do, but the greatest thing that's happened to me by being here is to meet all these fine people that I serve with and the people that we work with the agency. But we call you daddy. I think Trey calls you granddaddy, but you've been a good mentor to us, and we love you, and you did an outstanding job. Thank you.
Granddaddy, I don't know if you'll need a bodyguard anymore, but if you do, I'm still here. Thank you for your service and being such a good leader for us.
Chairman Brown, same here. We just love you to pieces, and thank you for your leadership. And as far as I'm concerned, you were the best singer the other night.
Oh, yeah.
Need a little bit of a stylist for that hair, but other than that, we thank you so much.
I just wanted to say, it's been a real honor to get to know you over the last couple of months. You're a true gentleman, and I respect you immensely, and look forward to work with you. And thank you for receiving me with open arms and giving me some guidance, and just, you're a true class act. So it's been a real honor. Thanks.
All right, I'm gonna ask Director Carter to come up and help me with a presentation to Chairman Brown. Do you have some words to say?
It didn't get around to me, but I think you did great.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Director Carter, I apologize, I just can't, I'm a recovering politician, y'all, I can't miss an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate your service.
Well, thank you. I could speak for a long time about the last 2 years and working directly with Chairman Brown. It's been an honor, really, and certainly been a pleasure. He's never, well, he hadn't griped much when I've called him anywhere between 10 and 12 at night, and all other hours on the weekend, and probably kept him from, well, I know I kept him from Judy, but maybe that was keeping you from doing a lot of chores that you didn't want to do anyway. But anyway, it's certainly been a pleasure. We appreciate all the effort you put into it, the professionalism that you brought forth, the agency personnel. You've been so easy to work with, and the respect that has gone back and forth is something that we don't look lightly on. So again, on behalf of everybody in the entire agency, we really do appreciate your leadership and the way you've brought us through these times and brought us to where we are. I know we'll keep moving forward in that direction, but it's not like you're leaving, so we'll get to still have you around for your benefit of your wisdom and your leadership as well. And we just appreciate what you've done. Look forward to being with you for a little while longer.
All right, Judge Brown, we'd love for you to come up here so Director Carter and I can present you with a token of our appreciation. This plaque states that Chairman William L. Brown, service rendered as chairman of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency Commission from March 1st, 2011 through February 28th, 2013. That means really I'm not effective on March 1st.
Thank you very much.
Okay, unless Director Carter has anything else to address the commission to, we'll select the next meeting.
That's what I was going to ask.
I would prefer that we have the one-day meeting that was slotted for March 22nd. I do want the commission to meet at that date. I think that's Friday, March 22nd. Is that correct?
I believe it is. Yes, sir. We also will need a date. We have a rule file for April, so we need a date and a location. It's traditionally, y'all have generally met, well, the legislature's in session, you've met in Nashville. That's certainly up to you, but anyway, date and location for April as well.
Do we have to indicate the location today, or can that?
Yes, sir.
There's been some discussion because of the events at Paris, Tennessee. Chief Bobby Wilson brought to my attention that he thought it might be a good idea because they were having a government luncheon there, or governor luncheon or something, and maybe it would be a good idea to have it there. I know traditionally we've always had it when the legislators were in session, that we always have the meeting here so we can identify or be available to them. What is the thoughts of the commission? I'm up for discussion of that.
And this is for the April meeting?
The April meeting, which is
The 25th and 6th were the dates we set
the
up.
Thursday, Friday, correct.
Meeting. Okay.
Right.
Is that so?
It just so happened that the world's largest fish fry or something was the same week, and Bobby had indicated he thought that might be neat. But do we want to move it from Nashville? I know traditionally we don't, but it's up to y'all. I don't care.
I vote for the fish myself.
I don't see a problem with that, but I would, since it's a celebration up there, we better check and see if we've got hotel rooms before
Yeah,
you,
that'd be important, unless we all crash at Trey's, right?
we can go to Bub's.
Yeah.
I think
No.
we're great.
Trey said we can all go to Hank Junior's, so.
So what, I mean, do you want to make it contingent on checking for hotel rooms today and then make that decision, put an email out?
We can try Tuesday. I think Monday's a holiday, so we'll try Tuesday. If you can leave it that way,
Okay,
contingent on getting places, either be Nashville or Paris.
So is everybody okay with Paris? Is that fine? Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine with me. I just, we'll just say on contingency that we can acquire hotel rooms then, okay?
Yes, sir.
And a meeting place, is there a suitable meeting place that we can meet? Because, I mean, obviously, that's our hunting season proposals from the agency, and so it's a big meeting, and we do need to have a available venue to meet.
If the park's available, that would be easy. If it isn't, we've met before in the, it's kind of a little convention center off near the hotel there.
Okay. May, I thought we'd already set it up, the dates on May. I'm sorry, I don't have, well, okay, we'll just go ahead.
30/31 of May.
And we'll state that that meeting is going to be in Nashville, that region, too.
Okay.
So that was May 30th and 31st, Thursday and Friday, correct? And did we already have the June ones scheduled? too?
We had the 28th, or 48th.
Can we decide in April meeting whether the June meeting would be 1 or 2 days?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll do that then. But at this point, we'll say March 22nd, April 25th, 26th, May 30th, 31st, and then June 27th, 28th. Is that correct? 28th. Well, 28th if it's 1 day. We'll just see what comes up. I think that if we have am I correct in saying that if we do approach the Sand Hill Crane issue, that would be in June?
Probably.
Okay, so we may need 2 days. So we'll see. Okay, is there any other business?
Just one last thing, I just wanted to say thank y'all for, the ones of y'all were able to come out to Turkey Federation meeting last night. A lot of people really enjoyed meeting you all. I'm glad you got to meet some of the people that we work with pretty closely from the other states and from the Turkey Federation and some of the other organizations that were there. So if any of y'all are going back out today and don't have any credentials, let me know. But anyway, thank y'all for doing that. Congratulations to new officers. Look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for last night. If any of y'all are going back out to see the exhibits, just don't follow Judge Brown. It took us an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So.
That was after a couple of emergency stops
We're
that
so.
weren't attributable to me. Don't record that, Don.
All right, meeting's adjourned.